Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. Here we have, I believe, Storm versus Pox. We'll see if my notes are correct. Storm definitely looks correct. And those are some black cards on the other side with a Swamp. Pass and Flames already in hand. Underground Sea into Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. Oh, this is actually getting serious very fast. 2 Lotus Petals, 2 Lion's Eye Diamonds. 9 mana on the first turn, and an Infernal Tutor in hand. This could be a wrap, potentially. Infernal Tutor. Cracking LED. Putting Pass and Flames into the bin. Thinking about the second LED. Yep, that one's going to go as well. And Storm is 7. I'm sorry, there's 6 mana floating there. Storm is 5, now 6. Storm is 6. And with Ad Nauseam here, going to start chipping away at the life total. There's the Tendrils. Just need a few more cheap spells. Is probably going to do it there. Storm 7. 8 with Cabal Ritual going to 5. Black. Going to be a couple of discard spells and a Tendrils. Let's see if things are scooped up before Duress. And it is, in fact, I see Urborg and Diabolic Edict. This is looking very much like Pox, which is going to be a very difficult matchup. Storm not going to be hugely concerned with any type of creature removal, so we'll see how this goes. The green splash here from Storm, enabling Xantid Swarm and Sylvan Library, a very interesting card. Doesn't seem like it's where you want to be in many matchups, but there are going to be a few matchups where that type of card is brutal, really dragging things out and kind of creating a critical mass of cards in hand. The more turns that the game goes, the better Sylvan Library is. And of course, if you're able to pay the life for Sylvan Library, even better. So kind of dirtily control decks that don't really push your life total, you're going to be happy to have a card like Sylvan Library. Probably a little worse versus decks with Hymn to Torok, kind of building up those cards over time and having that undone with him. Pretty rough. We'll see if Pox can set any type of clock. Storm, a very fun deck. Not the easiest deck to play. Definitely encourage people to give it a go. Even if you're not hugely successful with it, you will certainly learn how to play against it more effectively by piloting it. Really taking a look at that Empty the Warrens. Versus a deck like Pox, sometimes you can't really get to a completely lethal Tendrils. Maybe happy to be able to bail halfway through and just audible into settling for a bunch of goblins. It also gives you a lot more potential on turn 1. Even putting out, 10 or 12 goblins could be totally fine versus Pox if they don't have a sweeper in hand. Let's see how Pox fares. If we can learn any more about the build, if there's a Dark Depths combo in there, or what the plan is for victory. Mono black, archetype that's been around since the beginning of the game. Black Vice, I'm sorry, the Rack, a card that's killed a lot of players over the year. going to 6, not exactly where you want to be with Pox, but probably going to be a bunch of creature removal. Difficult to get rid of all of it. Pox so anti-creature. Trying to the bottom and leading out with a swamp, and I believe that was a Tormod's Crypt. Swamp on the other side into duress, and there we learn a little bit more. The Abyss. Oh, I'm sorry, a Nether Void. Toxic Deluge in another swamp, so Nether Void, if that comes down, that's probably going to be a wrap. Dark Ritual off the top would be very nice. Another swamp and pass. Nether Void is one heck of a card. Now Storm would still allow, the actual Storm mechanic would still allow for some potential to play through that. Could possibly get a handful of 0 casting cost artifacts, dropping them down, allowing them to be countered, and then playing a lethal Tendrils or perhaps an Empty the Warrens just to get some guys out. So Storm's such a powerful mechanic. People typically think about it more just along the lines of the fact that it generates a lethal, like as a win con, but the ability to play through things does make Storm so much more dangerous than people might give it credit for. Bojuka Bog coming in, exiling the graveyard, and Storm faltering a little bit. Lotus Petal, and passing the turn. Brainstorm, a welcome draw here. See if we can get some shuffling going on. Preordain, Lotus Petal, like an Echoing Truth. And considering cracking Lotus Petal right away, it's actually going to happen here. So Brainstorm putting 2 back. Those are going right to the bottom, getting a fresh card. And Ponder as well. So a real sense of urgency here from Storm. Not have been unreasonable to just go ahead and pass the turn, hoping to use cantrips with an untapped island. If this doesn't actually result in capitalizing on this Storm count, it's going to be a probably turn to regret. Yeah, so not ideal there. Losing those Lotus Petals. Inquisition coming in. And there's a pair of Infernal Tutors. Actually, not the worst thing in the world. Infernal Tutor being taken, and then, ooh, Extirpate. That makes it a brutal follow-up. I was just going to say that getting rid of that Infernal really isn't much of a problem. We're going to have to discard it to LED anyways, but Extirpate is really, really strong here. And take the question mark off of that Pox. This is definitely a grindy version of the deck. I've not seen any type of win condition yet. Pox is the type of deck that just gets around to that in its own time. The opponent's scooping, probably the most common win con for the deck. And Ponder. No good there. At this point, probably just hoping to draw into Empty the Warrens. Duress, getting Innocent Blood or Toxic Deluge. Got to play toward your outs. Land, go. And Storm still drawing live here. Volcanic. Oh, and just going to go ahead and commit those artifacts to the board. Interesting choice. Him to Turok gets the Thoughtseize. So good timing on that decision. Sometimes the card's safer in play than in hand. It is going to make it difficult to build up any type of momentum here. I did see a flash of a blue card. Let's see what it is. Brainstorm with 2 lands in hand. This is practically an ancestral here. Ball Ritual, Thoughtseize, and Duress. More discard, not really ideal. That Cabal Ritual likely to go back on top and just chill. Oh, I believe I missed the other card here in hand. Duress. I don't believe I understand that. The Cabal Ritual and Duress leave me a little befuddled. I'm not sure what the intent behind that was. Let's see how this plays out from here. The Tormod's was sacrificed to stop the Cabal Ritual. Maybe that's all it was. A little bit of gamesmanship trying to get that Tormod's off the table. And don't know what that card was. That looked like a win condition. Let me know in the comments. Is that the that might be that Siphon card where you discard lands, draw 2, and they lose 2, you gain 2. Ratchet Bomb mopping up the artifacts. What a miserable game, exactly the way Pox draws it up. Those cards were vulnerable on the battlefield or in hand. Dark Ritual now from Storm. So Preordain into Dark Ritual. Thoughtseize taking the Innocent Blood. And empty the Warren. So key decision bringing that card in here. This game has been an absolute train wreck. And now 8 goblins. That's a 3-turn clock. Ox very much likes murdering creatures. Let's see if it can find a way to clear these guys out of there. Toxic Deluge would be welcome. Another card discarded to siphon something, whatever that retrace card is. Let me know in the comments. 8 more coming across. That 2 life gained. Really key in giving an extra turn. Let's see if there's any more draws. A Factory. Seven damage you're going to be able to come in next. Brainstorm. Very interesting game state here. Animate, block, taking 7, going to 5. Can he get another land off the top? Buy another turn. Liliana. And that will not do it. 7 goblins would go down to 6. Only 1 could be blocked, so 5 is coming through no matter what. In a very interesting game, Storm versus Pox, grindy, but in the end, Storm emerges victorious.